Okay, everybody, let's see. Kind of got things prepped up here for starting to wire. Okay, put all the wires on the DDS board there. All right, got them all soldered on. AM and upper side, power wires here. And I did mount the SI like I was showing you the other day. And that first part, soldered it onto the back there. Cap goes through the board. Yeah, the cap goes through that board down here too. See if we get a good shot of it. And pin 6 right there. There's the cap coming through that little piece of wire right there. Get up closer. Right there. So you drill that little hole in there. Oh, there's just a little junk sticking through there. And then you set that down in, solder it on the back side back here so it sticks to the can. And then we're going to do our wiring. Well, I prepped this one so we could bolt this down and get the rest of the wires. Here you have, let's see, you've got your voltage, ground, SDA, SCL. It's the same marked on the board. So if you go to the board, you see where it says the SI generator, 5 volts there, ground there, S data, S clock. You don't have to, it's serial data, serial clock. But for time being, it's not something you have to know if you're just going to put this in. We're going to put in our power so that we can bolt this down and not have to have it flopping around. So your power, your black and white power, your black and red, your red wire goes back here to the 8 volts. Let's see if I can get up in there. Yeah, it goes down here to where that 8 volts is on the circuit board, right in there. And anywhere along there that connects to this cap, the 8 volts is there. I'll show you on the other side. Okay, on the other side, we're right here on this trace here that goes to the cap, comes around, goes up to here, and it makes a jump up to the VCO. So right there, any one of these holes right here, you could run it around the back of the board and do it right to the end of that cap. It doesn't matter, but that's 8 volts. And that has more than enough current to run the DDS. DDS runs very, very low current. So low the radio doesn't even hardly see it. So mount that, wire that, wire that. What we're going to do then is put this down on top of here. And you see it doesn't touch, just barely. Get that wire out of the way. Stop it, Mr. Wire. Get out of the way. What are you doing? He wants to be in the picture. He will be soon enough. All right. So there you see a little bit of a gap right there where that goes. You'll see a little gap under there. And it doesn't even matter if it were to set on top of the board. That's fine. And you can adjust the board how high or low you want it. And then just so that there's a gap. It doesn't touch or short out anything. So now what are we going to do next? Well, let's do, and I always have it set up like this. I bring the wires through where they're going to go. Here is the encoder, like you saw on part 1. Here are the display wires. That's to hook up to the display. Here's the wires that come through here to the clarifier. So this is just simple soldering, and here's your wires for the AM and upper sideband switch. So this is just simple soldering. I won't put you through that boring process. I will just solder them on, show you where they go, and we'll have the clarifier, the encoder, and the display wired up. Then we can get to our function wires here for, PTT, scan switch, that kind of stuff, and I'll show you where they go. So let me get my encoder. Encoder's mounted on the little plate that we make. And you can ask for one of those. Not a problem. Just ask for this little plate. Say, hey, I'm doing a 148 or a 148 clone. Just get this little plate. If you don't want it, you just cut a piece of metal, anything, doesn't matter. I used to use old junk aluminum, just as long as it's strong enough that when it's in there, it goes in from the back. But when it's in there and you push on the button, it's not going to, break or do something like that. So let's get this wired up and show you each point where they go to, and move on to the next bunch of wiring. Okay? All right, see you on the next step. All right, so my faithful pointer. I'm going to try to use this in our videos. That way you know it's me. If the robots take over, and they won't know about this. Anyway, okay, so got the clarifier wired. How do we do that? Let me bring it up here, and I'll put a picture up here to show you. It's just black, gray, red, which is ground, CLC, clarifier center, and the red with the black stripe, meaning it's our lower voltage coming off the kit, 5 volts. Got the encoder wired and put onto the little plate. Again, white, brown, and green over to this little pin here. And then if you notice under here, and I'll put a picture up here for it, that jumper is the black wire, the ground. It's just jumping between the center pin and this bottom one here. It could jump between this pin and put green over here. It doesn't matter. These two are just a switch. When you push the encoder in, the switch closes across these. So you're bringing this one to ground. Okay, and I put my, I remembered this time to put the old channel selector mounting deal on there, so you don't have to find nuts and bolts to use. Just use the regular bolts that you had out of the thing, out of the channel selector. Got the display wired up, and I can put a picture of that up too, or we'll just zoom in here a little bit and get you something. So, same as with the SI generator, we have SDA, SCL, voltage, and ground. Very simple. Okay, all you're doing is you're just wiring stuff. All right, so let me get all this put back in there and on to some more wiring. And let me get around here and show you the AM and upper side. And I'm gonna try that zoom in thing. Oh yeah, look at that, works. Okay, so the AM and the upper side is here. AM goes here, the wire, the yellow wire from the kit, AM there. And then the upper side goes to here, which is that violet wire, goes to the violet wire. The AM is on that gray wired kit. And it looks like we may have to go in here and clip this original wire out a little bit and redo it. It looks a little cruddy right there. But anyway, just test it with your voltmeter. Make sure that there's 8 volts when you have the, what do you call it, the mode in AM. And make sure that there's 8 volts when you go up here to upper side. Lower side, the kit defaults to lower side when there's no voltage, so it won't matter. So check there for 8 volts in AM. Go to upper side, that voltage should go away, and you should have 8 volts here on upper side. And when you go back to AM, that voltage should go away. AM would have 8 volts again. And then of course, when you go to lower side, there shouldn't be any voltage on either of these. So let's go and zoom out and continue. Alrighty, got that one done. Let's show you where that goes. This is the scan. It's the white with black stripe. Just run it along here. So you see I put a couple of wire ties. Kind of helps me finish out this area. We all know, we know all the function switches are going to go, or the function wires are going to go up this way. So I just make a little wire tie there, a little wire tie there. That way it just already starts to look like a nice clean install. So take your white black, which is the scan, the spectrum scan wire, and you notice go along the normal path, and this is where Cobra had the wire ties. I didn't even take them off. Just stick it underneath the wire ties, and your white black comes up to here, and it goes to D71. I was right. Right there on D71. That's that little sideways diode right there. So just hook them right on the back of D71, and your spectrum scan magically works. Okay, next let's do the push to talk in and out. So Let's see if I can grab this. This is our push to talk in and out, or the push to talk wire. And you know that by putting your continuity meter there, keying your mic. If it goes beep, you know you got it. Well, on a 148, that's your push to talk wire right there. So let's get that off of there like that. I'm going to set him aside for a second. And we'll take the orange with the black wire and we'll solder him right back on there to that same spot. There. Got them soldered on. Not going to go anywhere. And we have a little loop here where we can put wire ties in. It'll be nice and even. So now we got to go with the brown with the black stripe to where this wire went to. Well, we know that it's PACB, so if we turn it over, we see it right there on top of PACB. So let's get him unsoldered. It looks like somebody already soldered on that. So let's see, where's that at? It's right there. So we can just come down. Okay, we want it on this side of there, just like that. Okay, normally that's not my normal routine. Normally I can even look at a board with a part, turn it over, and know where that part is on that side. So I don't know. I'm just tired, and I'm making a video. I'm not used to this, doing a video. Yeah, that's just something I don't do. Let's tin this wire here a little bit. Get the tip wet. Tin that wire. Okay. And let's get him soldered onto that spot where that red wire had gone to. There. Nice, solid, pretty little scan, or the wire. I'm noticing his receiver, the PA switch, the receiver wire is already connected to itself. So this PACB doesn't even work anymore. So I'm not going to go rewire the whole thing. Anyway, so got our spectrum scan wired up, got our push to talk in to the board. And anytime you hear us talk about push to talk in or switch in, it's always into our board. Where it says out, like push to talk out, is out to the radio. Just so you know that. So that's done. Push to talk there is done. What do we have left? Oh my gosh, 3 wires? That's it? Okay, well, these are channel scan. It's the yellow with the black stripe. Roger beep. So let's put Roger beep on. So Roger beep's going to go over here to the center of the microphone gain. What do they call that? The dyno mic? Let's get this out of here. Get that so that it gets the dynamic, huh? Well, all right, dynamic it is. All right, let's tin this wire a little bit. Always tin your wires, makes it so much nicer to solder with. And we're going to go to the back of the dynamic. They do call that dynamic, don't they? Yep, my hands are shaking again. My blood sugar's good. I just haven't been sleeping really great. So that may be something with that. So we're going to take it and we're going to solder it straight down to... Hey, look at that. Somebody had already been messing with this. This is not the original wire for the deal. There, okay. So we just solder that down on there. Center pin. All right, center pin of the dynamic. That's your Roger beep. We're down to 2 wires left. Channel scan. Okay. Channel scan wire looks for voltage on and off, meaning a little over 2 volts, something over 2 volts, 6 volts, you know, something like that. and then squelch off. Well, I think it's squelch off, it's looking for voltage. Squelch on, it's not looking for voltage. Either way, we're going to just go down here because I kind of know right where it's going to be. Going to pull through here, and we are going to go to what they call the collector of TR, I believe it's 12. So we'll go right there, and let me see if I can zoom in and show you where that is. Can I zoom while I film? I think so. Look at me go. Okay, so the collector of TR12 is going to be right here. Okay, let's get you out of the way. That's the S meter wire. Come on. Stay out of the way. That's it right there. This one right here. This is TR12. Emitter collector base. So you're going to want to go to the collector right here of TR12. So zoom back out here if I can. Oh, let's zoom in. Okay, there. Hey, I'm learning. You know, I don't know how to run a camera. Okay, so we're going to go right about there. You clip that wire right about there. Now, if you want to go on the web and download the book to show you where all this is, we're going to have pictures of it all, not a problem. But I think after this, you're going to say, oh, wow, it's just so easy. Okay, got him on there. And I like to put a little hot glue or something on there just so it's not bouncing around. Okay, we're back. Okay, what did I find? I found that the bright dim switch right here has already been unhooked for, you know, some kind of who knows what. So I figured, hey, he's a dead switch. He's just sitting in there. Let's use him. So I took our blue with the black stripe, ran it to a center pin. Right there, you can see that. And then I ran black from that pin, you know, from one of the pins up, you know, on the slide, top one, over to a ground. We just did the scan switch, right? So as you can tell, get that up in here. Whoops, still got my power on. Well, that's okay. You know what? Let me get it around here. My messy bench. Okay. So got that scan switch in there, which is right next to that high-low. So that's there. Got our transmit receive indicator. Okay. Our display's on. We know everything's running. That's cool, right? So won't take very long. Let me warm up the hot glue gun and get the bezel and show you how to put this display in the bezel, and then we'll go through the calibration, testing all of it. All right, that's the end of part 2. Part 3 is going to be the bezel, so stand by.